Hey family, I am here with my friend Angela Pope. Not only is she my friend, she is my travel agent, getting me back in the groove of traveling, which I love. It's been a passion of mine forever, and trying to build out the lifestyle where I can travel more. Angela and I are also in a BNI networking group together. She is the president of our Charlotte South Networkers chapter. And part of the reason we wanted to podcast, interview, ask questions today was to one, get to know Angela and her business and her journey, but also to talk about just in the BNI world, how we're working together to figure out how to collaborate together and come up with some really cool projects that we're going to talk about later. But Angela, let's start off. Introduce yourself. I consider you a marketing guru and mentor. So tell me what you do now and maybe tell us how you got to where you are now.
You're awesome. Thank you, Stetson. Well, podcasting is new for me, so let me just start there. But I am a marketing specialist and a travel specialist, and I own Dream Vacations and locally known as GoVacayYourWay.com. It differentiates me from other franchises that are Dream Vacations. Dream Vacations is really one of the leaders in travel franchise, so it's great to be part of that community and then also get to cater to my clients who love more customized trips where I get to meet and build a team all around the world of tour operators and tour guides that are local to places like France and Italy and Amsterdam and just a lot of places, Asia. So I meet and cater to clients wherever they're going. In fact, like Stetson said, she's a client. She's referred me to other clients, and they like to go some fun places. Kind of leading up to that, for 25 years this year, I've owned a marketing agency and do really more than that. I was an entrepreneur at first. I did event planning and wedding planning. That kind of rolled into personalized gifts and so on and so forth. But really did a lot of consulting with clients. I'm all about building brands. And so that's why I'm still doing that with Stetson and partnerships and collaborations. I'm interested in helping other businesses grow, whether they're small or whether they're larger. And raising awareness. I was talking with a friend this morning. We're going to a conference in September, and it's on the marketing side, not the travel side. And we were collaborating on some brands and ideas that she may be able to support at the trade show. And she, from that phone call, spurred a conversation with a supplier to bring on some really customized products that she's going to be able to show at the event. So I'm looking forward to supporting her in that effort.
Nice. How does your marketing background and just knowing, like, because marketing, I know is a whole beast. And I think everybody in every job has to know a little bit about marketing and figure it out a little bit. But for an expert like you, how does it help you in your travel business now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, it's a game changer. And that's why I chose Dream Vacations because they have a tremendous marketing effort behind me. That in my marketing agency, I signed every contract, I connected with every vendor, paid all the bills and sorted those out and all of those things. And now I've got the best of both worlds. So with marketing in my back pocket, it really opens doors for putting yourself out there in a different way. I find one of the biggest challenges for business owners is they really don't know where to start. They may have had money to start a business, but they don't know what to do with that business. And I mean, social media, just since the pandemic, has been exponential change, even in my world of marketing. I came from a traditional marketing background. I worked for the Charlotte Observer newspaper for a decade. I called on travel companies like cruise lines, airlines, resorts. So that's kind of where my travel history started. But marketing is so important because you need to know who your audience is. You need to know who your audience isn't, how to say yes and how to say no, and go after really my approach is educational. How do I help people learn what they need to learn, not just selling a package? You won't see many packages promoted by me. that's really advertising, in my opinion. It's more about what are you trying to accomplish and how can I help you accomplish it? That's what marketing is.
Yeah, and just kind of testimonial from my experience of working with you. It was so great because you know that, I am a content creator, social media, and Angela was sending me just like cute little cafes and bistros. Like this one has a great aesthetic. You might like this. And so really kind of just thinking about the client. So I would say it's more than marketing. A lot of it for you is just really good customer service, which I know that you have. But talking back to like dream vacations, because it sounds like they are a good company to work for. And me not knowing much about the vacation travel industry, I used to think like, why do people even need a travel agent? I remember thinking that until I worked with you. And so tell me, it sounds like they do a great job of marketing dream vacations and doing a lot of the admin work so you can focus on your business. So what type of person might this be for? Because I know I work with a lot of people who are entrepreneur curious. They're interested in the entrepreneur world. And so a lot of times they're coming to me from maybe a corporate world or something that they've done for 20 plus years. And they're like, I think what I get a lot, Angela, is people are scared to step into entrepreneurship because they're like, I know I'm going to need to know social media sort of thing, which I don't think is necessarily true. It's an evil necessity and you can learn along the way. But what kind of ideal client would be for Dream Vacations if somebody is looking? Like who would make a good fit for Dream Vacations and on your team?
Yeah, good question. We're a lot alike in some ways. I know you service your clients, deeply, not just superficially. So that is important that really we're walking alongside our clients to help them understand what they don't know. And that question comes up a lot. Why do I need a travel agent? And sometimes my clients don't ask that question because they get it. And even this is true with entrepreneurs. If you've been in business at least 3 to 5 plus years. And I say beyond that now because really, if you've, there's some crazy ways to say it, but if you've really experienced some downsides or some bad experiences, you know why you need someone. And that could be, hey, I've planned all of my trips, or my wife has planned, or my husband has planned all of our trips, and they've been great. But we missed a train, we missed our visit to the cathedral, we had an appointment, whatever. And the plane, the flight, what to expect, it's all of those things. So I say, really, whether it's your first or your 50th trip, I'm here to walk alongside you. And if you're hand holding, I'll hold your hand. We'll talk even when you're on site. Yeah, I've had people connect with me from Sorrento, Italy, and say, hey, we are here. Like it's at the corner of Queens Road and Queens Road. What do I do now? And I think that's really a big part. As a business owner, you don't know what those stumbling blocks are until you get there. And that's why we have business coaches and consultants and social media managers like yourself and people who really can be, I call it integrated marketing, which I'm a big fan of. And that is, hey, you don't have to hire an assistant or an admin person to buy all the pens and pencils, to buy the post-it notes, to do the social media. You need someone who can walk alongside your business as a professional. They're in business to do this. Or even for you, if you've been to 50 trips and now you just are questioning, like, did I really do this? I want to do the train now. How do I do that? So that's where I come into play. I don't take away anyone's ability to be creative and have a great time and plan some of their trip. I enhance that. So I get out of the way if they want to do XYZ, and I jump in if they want to do, ABC.
And I think for me, I was that girl who always depended on the girl in our girl group to like plan. Like I was that girl, like I'm just gonna show up. Like I know that drives some people crazy, but it totally my personality and I show up ready. I'm gonna have a good time. But like you just tell me what the plan is because I'm that go with the flow, don't need a plan on vacation. That is more of a fun vacation for me. But I know other people are not that way. Like my mom is not that way. She needs that plan. It's that list. It's knowing. And so, which is good to have people like that on your girl trip because if everybody were like me, it'd be a disaster. But I say this because me knowing my personality, how I travel, like don't even know the flight number till the day I'm supposed to board the plane. It's having somebody like you who is kind of planning. And I love that there's an app feature because I'm digital and just kind of everything on the app So, me now being a single woman in my 40s, really looking at more solo travel or more like group travel with people I don't know. Like, it's nice to know that, well, there's still somebody there. There's still somebody helping me feel that safety and security on a trip, which I think is really nice to have. Testimonial, shout out to that. We'll move on to some of the marketing talks and stuff too. But thank you so much for sharing about your business because it's been something fun for me to
Sure.
learn more about this year. And so I do think a lot of people who are entrepreneur curious, this might be a good fit for them where they feel supported by like a
Yeah,
franchise
yeah.
role and not just like out on their own, but also getting
Yeah, and we can add associates, and that's the other thing is just being part of a team instead of thinking I've got to do this all by myself and I need to bring 10 people on. As an entrepreneur, it's much better to have a network of people who you don't have to some people do hire. That is their game strategy. Other people bring on contract employees. So, yeah, what else you got?
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned before we started recording, we were talking a little bit about AI, and I know your husband, he's in the IT tech world, probably loves talking about AI probably as much as I do. And being in marketing, you talked about, how marketing is changing. How do we see AI changing the travel world? Have you, in marketing groups or in travel groups, have y'all talked about that much? What does that look like?
Yeah, well, it's talked about a lot again in that whole why do I need a travel agent? Because people think, well, I'll just go to Chat GPT and ask a bunch of questions about, my trip and I'll have a trip. Well, they might be closed when you show up
Right?
because you
Right.
didn't vet things out. So while Chat GPT is something I use daily, hourly for a ton of different reasons, and it is amazing. It really is. Just think of every idea or piece of information that's ever been discussed, that's been put into the computer, is in seconds at your fingertips. So, what it means though is you need to know how to use it. And without giving the secrets away, so to speak, of that, human brain understanding how to use it, you really need to know what questions to ask. And it kind of goes to no question is a dumb question. Well, if my questions are better than yours, I might get different results. Or you're an expert in social media, you're going to get different results from somebody who's never really dealt with marketing or wants to start, like, how do I start a business? Where you're going to get like a laundry list. You've got to narrow that down and you've got to keep fine tuning. Think about the musician that needs to know the next note. In voice lessons, you learn, think about the next note. No, don't think about like the whole song, especially if you're someone who gets nervous. I think of people like Barbara Streisand and think people that talk about how their nerves got the most of them. And the world thinks of them as just fantabulous, right? And icons. But everybody needs to think about what is next, not just what's next step. And AI is like that. And it gives you great prompts about what that next step is. So, yes, it's used widely in travel for everything from mapping out an entire itinerary. But again, I'm not afraid of that, just like I'm not afraid to work with people with points and miles and credit cards and things like that, because all of that needs to be harnessed and brought together. The puzzle still needs to be put together. So if you get off on the wrong track, literally on a wrong train, on a wrong bus, and you're navigating out there with no harness, that's where AI could take you. It could
Yeah.
take you to the end of the earth.
Oh,
So,
it
same
can.
thing.
It
What
can.
do you see in your
It sure
side
does.
with AI?
Well, I think like part of me is like what I was thinking is because AI can be so time efficient and because it can help people save so much time, I'm wondering if more people are going to travel because they're saving time and money because of AI, like efficiency. I know our friend Amy, she's in insurance, health insurance, and she said she was able to put like a list of a client's prescriptions, into ChatGPT to see if they were a good fit, like to narrow it down. She said that used to
Oh,
take her hours to like Google before, to Google each prescription and what it was for and what it did.
that's
And
great.
so
Yeah,
think of
that's
all the
great.
hours that saves her per client. And that's just one example. I mean, I think of me, I used to write all of the copy and caption for each
Oh,
post.
yeah.
And Hi, and I still have to tweak it because I do not like it to sound like ChatGPT, but honestly, I've learned most people don't even know or care. So that's probably just a perfectionist thing in me. But I think more people will be traveling. That's one. I think another reason people are going to be traveling more is to disconnect more because now we are on our devices so much. And I think people are truly going to start craving more of that. I just need real life connection. I need that dopamine detox from devices. And so those are the two reasons I think travel industry is a good place to be right now. Truly, I do. So,
Yeah, you're probably right. Honestly, you can get so many things done. However, there's always those things that, you have to come back to and kind of pound them out. It's those, for me, it's making the appointments. There are set specific dates and places you have to connect with. So, yes, I think we're getting so well advanced with the options and the opportunities, but we still have to keep the baseline of, hey, I still have to make that Coliseum appointment. When do I need to book that? Or when do I need to book the Pantheon tickets? Those things, if they don't happen, the client doesn't get into the greatest venues of all time. And the same thing, I don't know if you have those kinds of deadlines. That's another thing for me in business at all times. And I know I got that from my corporate background, and that is I'm deadline driven. No matter what the situation is, I am deadline driven, and you can't miss a date. Of course it might happen, but hope to goodness it, knock on wood, it has not happened for major. And that's why we have to have insurance, as Amy is in charge of, but we have to have insurance as travel agents, because, and that's the other thing, you have to know about insurance. There's a lot of things you have to know about for trip protection. Again, people miss a flight, or somebody gets sick, or somebody passes away, and you have to have backup plans. So it's just that, again, voice in your ear, person standing on your shoulder saying, hey, did you think about this? Let's make sure we cover that.
oh, I
So
will not travel without travel insurance. I have before, but after learning about it, I'm like, oh no, let's be safe. Let's do that because you never know what's going to happen. Interesting. So I do think you're in a good sweet spot. I think marketing people are in a good sweet spot. If we stay current and up to date with some of these marketing, which you and I know it is changing rapidly, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes. So on to that, I know you and I want to partner together, and we've been talking about partnering together, helping using your marketing and travel expertise along with some of my Canva template, social media training expertise for travel agents because you and I both have seen so many travel agents that good at their job don't know how to promote themselves. So let's talk about that a little bit too on why are you helping other travel agents do this, Angela? You could like run the market. Tell me where that service attitude comes from.
I mean, I'm a giver, and I want people to be successful. And I learned a long time ago that you can give people everything, all the tools that you think they need, but they may still not pick up that ball and bat and hit it. They may just think, well, that's a great idea, but I don't know. They don't have that activator. So, I've got the creative and the strategy and the activation. And it's easy for me. So when something's easy and these are your strengths, it's fun to give it away. And so when it comes to travel agents, everyone is different. When I say, why do you hire a travel agent? It's not really that. Why are you hiring Angela? Is really, why are you hiring Stetson? And so that's the big game changer. So with other travel agents, why not give them some tools that would help them, an understanding of that if you don't do this, you can certainly be successful, but at what level? And I spoke with someone yesterday and who said, hey, I've got a friend she's a nurse, and she is a Disney travel agent. Well, there's a lot of Disney travel agents, and people wonder, well, why in the world do you need a travel agent for Disney? You do. It can be very beneficial. I'm working with neighbors right now. So I think, yeah, I mean, travel agents need help just like other small businesses. And you do have a little bit of that in your background and your wheelhouse and your passion. And I think that us together, it's going to be great to share that message with AI and opportunities for them to say, okay, I can do this. They may not want to do or be able to do it all, but they can at least get a little practice and figure out what does exposure mean? What does conversations mean? And I've been the worst, honestly. you're always at the bottom of your list when you're an entrepreneur, honestly. I did
Great.
monogramming for years. My kids had a little bit. I was not a big purse changer, but fast forward, I when I went into travel as a business, I knew I would have to put myself out there differently. So I want to thank you, Stetson, for showing me how you do it and how it should be done, because it has really helped me put myself out there more. So thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that affirmation because I am a words of affirmation love language girl. So I appreciate that. And thank you because we don't know who we're helping out there. And it is scary to show up online. And there are so many times I don't want to show up online. But when you hear stuff like that, it's like, okay, it helps me and I need to promote my business. I tell people because I do work with real estate agents and they're like, I don't want to show up. And I say, real estate agents have been putting their face on benches, grocery carts, and like grocery carts and billboards for years. Like, so it's they were the first ones on that personal branding, like hire me
Yeah.
sort of thing. And so I think about that, and that's what social media is now. It's a hire me sort of thing. And how can we relate to people? But I always try to like, how can we not be tacky marketing, which I'm sure you and I both see a lot of, because there's clickbait marketing, which we know works, but I think people get sick of that. And then that trust level goes away when you're doing like tacky marketing strategies. I don't know your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So with
See as
travel
much of that on
agent,
your
sorry. So I was wondering from you with travel agents, what do you see a lot of? Do you see much travel promotion? I'm usually about sharing the experience. Like, so you need to travel to promote in some cases, but you don't always. We have so many great partners, and that's part of the dream vacation. They can take collateral from a lot of our partners and utilize it. Sometimes what they need from a you is explaining that to them. You've got the catalog. You've got the Sears and Roebuck Christmas catalog in front of you. Now pick out what people would love and promote it as your own. That's what they need help from. They need that he sorry, not from. They need help with
hmm
is somebody like you to say, here's an opportunity. And I think that's where your Canva tools come in. People don't want to, they're not able to reinvent the wheel and creative. I started with my marketing learning Canva, a number of years ago, and just graphic design. I used all the Adobe tools. Canva's made it so much easier, but there are a lot of people who don't get it at all. So, yeah, what do you envision that way? Maybe some templates, customizable. I know you had a great membership. And what are we thinking about that? Do you have any ideas on that?
Yeah. And I do still have my membership. It's just on doors closed right now because we are
Right. Bigger, better.
up in the prices because of AI. But, and that's truly what I see. And you're right, Angela, because that's what I've learned is people don't know all the tools and people don't want more tools. People don't want more software. Even I was meeting with a client yesterday for project management and he was like, well, we use Trello. And I'm like, I already use Airtable. I already use, but it's everybody's using something different. And then when you're working with different people, it's crazy. So, and that's what I've found. A lot of these travel agents do have a bank of information. They have a bank, the library of tools, but then they might buy a program to teach them how to do something, and it's teaching them different tools and different ways. And then they might sign up for a course over here, and then they're teaching them something so different. Not that any of them are bad, but it's the clarity and that personalization of like hand holding. And that's where I feel like I worked in the travel agency too for a while with the average age demographic of 85 in the casino travel agency. And I realized, like, yes, I know how to check my airline ticket on a phone super fast. I know how to check in on a kiosk super fast. And I kind of loved it. I know other people get impatient with people, but I'm like, God, I knew that this man who's 85 sitting here struggling in the kiosk used to own a multi-million dollar company. He's a smart man. And so I think it's in today's world, I think a lot of people, like, if people aren't catching on fast, they get looked down on, or like people feel left behind. They feel dumb. Like I had a girlfriend over here the other day, brilliant. We went to college together. She's my age. She was struggling so hard with Canva And she said, God, I just feel so dumb. I feel like my 90-year-old grandmother right now. Like she just felt so dumb. And it was the words that she was telling herself. And that's what I see, Angela. And that's what breaks my heart. And I tell everybody, you didn't go to school for marketing. You don't have a marketing degree. This is a software tool like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Those are all three different software tools. You would never just start a new job and then say, "Hey, yep, just here's our software platform. You know this, right? You know how to do this, right?" But that's what's happening. People are like, "Oh yeah, you know how to do Instagram. You know how to use it, right?" I'm in a sweet spot age, being 41, that Facebook came out when I was in college. So I say I've grown with it. I think the millennials right now, the geriatric millennials is what they're calling us, but we're in the sweet spot right now because we've grown with it. So we actually understand it more than even the younger generation. And I'm seeing the younger generation who they weren't allowed to have social media growing up, or maybe they just had Snapchat, YouTube, but what I'm seeing, they don't know how to run business or where all the tools are or how to properly use it, but they can find things out faster because they know what some of the icons mean just because they're used to looking at the icons. Where I see like some
Hmm.
of the older generation don't even think to click on some of the icons. Like they don't even know to do that to find things. And so I think my 40-year-old self, like probably ages 35 to 45 right now, will always know the most about the current social media. Now, I think I'll age myself out because AI and video editing are changing like crazy, and this younger generation is going to know so much more about drone footage, AI creation. Right now, people are building AI businesses and apps. That to me is out of my wheelhouse. And so I'm going to have to learn it. It's like a foreign language to me. And so I get it. I think my message for a lot of these travel agents right now is like, please don't put yourself down. Please don't feel like you're behind. Please don't say that you're stupid. Take time is one bite at a time and stop listening to all the noise. So that's where I feel like you and I can partner together, take out a lot of the noise, handhold a little bit, and make it simple. Here are some simple things you can do right now to help promote your business. And that's where I think our partnership will be really good with what we have in mind.
Yeah, I love that. Simple ways to promote your business. Because if you can do a one sheeter, if you can do a quick video and a little example of how they should be doing this is what you can send to your client, a follow up video, something like that, something, a text. People text, I get communication in a variety of ways: text, email, social media, and streamlining that, teaching your clients. We can talk about that. But I think just a few simple things for affordable rate could go a long way. And then when they see some results, because I think people are moving away from the, oh, I've got to have X thousands of followers. That's just not realistic. But what can I do? What's bringing in business? What's a game changer? So that might be, and some of it's been simple from the start with social media. I think it's just bringing it to people's attention in a travel related way. I know
Yeah.
there's some frustrated people out there because when they buy into a franchise in particular, they get a lot thrown at them, and there's a lot of training we have to do. We are continuously learning and training, and that could be geography, that could be tools, and it just doesn't help people who want to grow their business. Sometimes that's all just must do's, not I'd like to do. And so
Right.
I think making the I'd like to do things differently, I mean, even just how to show up,
Hmm.
I mean, that kind of thing. So I'm
Yeah.
excited about talking with you and coming up with a strategy on that, so that we can kind of get things out there. That's where I say I can take people from A to Z in about 2.5 minutes, no matter the topic. So you got to pull me back a little bit, but
No,
I'm
I
ready.
think this is
I'm
great.
ready.
I like where it's going. I like where it's headed. And I think too, I mean, for those listening and tuning in, Angela and I are talking about a digital product, and people see that all the time. I think people assume this digital marketing, digital product thing is easy. And that's the message that people are putting out on social media. It's not easy. It does take time to put together. And it does take the strategy. It takes a lot of the building and your automations and flow. And it is easier for people who've been in marketing. So I understand that. That's just part of the messaging. But I do think digital products are good for everybody to have. So even for travel agents, like I was saying, a downloadable resource guide, whether it's a freebie just to collect emails and stuff like that. Collecting emails and numbers, I think, are never going away because that is what you own. That is your database, that is your clientele, that's your lead generation. I think that's super important. I'm always shocked and surprised by people who don't have an email list, and happens every day. I'm just like, oh, but who are you going to contact? So I know if my social media were to shut down today, I have a strong email list and email community.
Well, keep this in mind too. And I think in business, it's important, and you'll hear it said, okay, you've gotten something that's solid. Now, how do you wash, rinse, and repeat that?
Yes.
Because if it's successful, that's what you want to do. You don't have to do something new every day. Coke doesn't go to Pepsi and go to Dr. Pepper tomorrow. They stay with Coke for a reason,
Right.
or whatever it is. But that said, you have a product that you have created that is in flux, and we're going to take some of that really rich content that you've already created and design it in a different way because you have a vision for that. And it's going to help business owners who are in travel hopefully be able to build that momentum and move their business forward, even if it's in little bites at a time. Not be overwhelming, but give them a little just guide. And that's kind of how this came about, right? You said, well,
Right.
hey, I have something that I think we can maybe repurpose. And repurposing is a huge strategy for all businesses. So thank you again for the idea. And I love that you've mentioned it's digital, it's easy access. I call it, again, why do you need a travel agent? It parallels everything you're saying because it's the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift that nobody really wants. It doesn't strengthen your sleep patterns. You're doing the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift because you have no other time to learn social media or to build your website. And that's when you're on the websites, Googling, trying to find something 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And it's exhaustive. And the same thing. So it's helping people build this into their day. And maybe it's a lunch break tool. Hey, I can do this for 30 minutes. Maybe it's a mid-afternoon tool. Hey, I've got a 3 o'clock call. I'm going to do it after that. So I'm hoping some of that. And then building a network, which you and I are big on. And that is helping them see that we're not competitors. I'm here to collaborate and help you grow your business with my network and my partner, Stetson, who really wants to be. It's not like, some people who are of like a mentality of, why? Well, I'm going to call Stetson and get her travel business. No, it's we're building something together, but there is that scarcity mindset out there. Everybody's a competitor if they're in social media with me or if they're in travel. And I'm much more of let's give it. Let's give and we'll figure it out from there. We'll just get a buzz going. It's fun.
Get the buzz going. I mean, hey, it is fun. It's fun to collaborate. It's fun to work with other people. So, encourage you if you're listening to this too, find a partner, maybe outside of your industry. How can y'all partner together? It would be fun. Be creative, build those relationships. I think it's good. Well, Angel, this has been great. I'm going to wrap up with my question that I love to ask people. How do you like to shine online? What brings you joy online?
Oh my gosh, this is newer to me again. How do I like to shine online? Sharing other people's success. Something fun I did. Yesterday, I sponsored an event called Chef Wars. It was wrapped around the senior community in Charlotte. It's where all the chefs from the really high end residential senior communities got to compete. And I mean, gosh, to see these people are usually behind the scenes. They were so appreciated. They were like Michelin chefs out there and they're superstars. The food was fantastic. So I promote other people. I promote other businesses because of my marketing background. So that's how I like to show up is telling somebody else's story.
Yeah, you do such a good job of that too. You really, I know we talked about BNI earlier, but that giver's gain, you're always shouting people out, always tagging me in Facebook groups. So I hope people do the same for you. How you can do that, share this podcast with somebody, share this video with somebody. that you might know who wants to travel and get out there, or maybe entrepreneur curious. Maybe they want to start their own travel agency. I will put all of Angela's links in the show notes and in the description. Angela, thank you so much for taking your time to be with me today. I love you as a person, love you as a business owner, and I'm excited for our partnership.
Ditto. Thank you so much, Stetson. Have a great afternoon. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.